Hello, everyone. I'm Steve. Mark's running errands, and this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back. Happy Saturday. It is the weekend, so we know what that means. I'm back on the keto wagon after 2 days off for Thanksgiving, so coffee, heavy cream, and erythritol. I can't believe I'm still on keto. I'm such a poser. Whatever. So, today we are going to revisit our friend, our fair lady Chantal. Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, big beautiful me. I've worked very hard on trying to get the glare off my glasses, so do forgive. I may even try to take them off periodically. So, what a lot of people touched on this week was that she actually went and had surgery, and she showed some receipts for it. Not originally, but as the week went on, she did. So there's some folks who are not tail between the legs with it, but who were suspicious about whether or not she was going through with it, whether last time's false start was a setup and this was going to be the same thing. And it appears that it did happen. So she touches on that as well as a couple other things. I'm not feeling as supportive to Chantal as I did before. Okay. There's a couple things that came up this week that bothered me. Um, and I can appreciate Chantal's point where if you don't like what you're seeing, don't watch. If you don't like farts, don't watch. If you don't like this, don't watch. First of all, I don't owe her any explanation as to what I watch and why. For all she knows, I'm a closet feeder. Um, but that aside, I have been watching. I'm glad she's putting out more content, and she's great fodder for discussion, I think. That's the real reason I watch. So let's have a little bit of a discussion, shall we? So we left off last week with her doing an unboxing for FabFitFun, whatever. This week we pick up with her hysterectomy journey. She acknowledges that she thinks it's maybe a little early to film because this was just a few days after the operation. I have to say she looks fantastic for a few days out of an operation. I think that's what made some people initially suspicious that she had actually had an operation because she looked really good, and she does look really good, I have to say. She basically in the video just gives the timeline of events of what went on. She said she was off her pain pump by the second day, and she was walking around. That's a really good recovery time. She, of course, has to go into a TMI about passing gas in the hospital, and of course that story went on for about 3 minutes. Um, and she mentions in there, of course, Mark's in the room. You guys know Mark is around when I'm doing these. And she says, guys, this is just part of how I tell stories. You know who I am. Mark screams from the other room. Yeah, she's going to stay who she is. Disgusting. So that's Mark's not here to give his input, but that was what he said. So that wraps up her hysterectomy journey. She kind of touches on everything, and she looks well. I'm glad she did well. Say what you like or don't like about Chantal. I don't want her to die. I don't want her to have surgery complications. I want her to continue to make content so that we can continue to talk about it. So, next video, pizza rolls and cheesecake mukbang. Now, at first sight, I thought she's gonna bust a freaking stitch if she overeats or gains weight immediately after getting her body cut open and sewn back together. But I put that aside and just kept watching. She did acknowledge she wanted to do some more home-cooked meals. Now, pizza rolls and cheesecake. Certainly she's not eating in the car from the drive-thru, but I don't know if that's grandma's home cooking. But she did make it at home, so let's not split hairs. She feels like she does need to slow down. She hasn't left the house yet. BB's been doing some housework. She doesn't mean slow down on her eating. She means slow down on things that are physical. And that makes sense. I mean, she probably is supposed to be doing limited activity. So, uh, she says part of her issue is that, she's an Aries, and so your astrological sign dictates your choices as a unique individual and a human being with free will. And so she is impulsive, deals with anger and with impatience. So apparently 1 in 12 people is just like Chantal in that way. She said she's been keeping busy doing crossword, Sudoku, Netflix, stuff like that, recovering after surgery. I've had family and friends who've had surgery, and it's boring, and you do get bored. I'm not mad at her for getting stir crazy and sitting around the house, and I'm not mad at her for looking well after surgery. I don't think she should be dragging herself around. If she feels good and wants to throw on a face of makeup and make a video, good for her, at that point. She does, though, go back to something that's been a revolving point of hers for a couple years. Now, she's eating garbage on camera, and she again says, I know what I'm doing. I will eat this, and I will eat healthy vegetables off camera, and I will eat healthy fruit. You guys don't know what I'm doing behind the scenes. 2 years ago, she was saying the same thing in videos when she was arguably smaller. At least her face was, because you can't really gauge the body when the mukbang happens from here up. But she looked smaller. So she was at least the same size. So that method is not working. If that method is only helping her maintain 360 pounds, it's still not working because she's still 360 pounds. So, if that method is only good for that, then I wouldn't say it's good. She's a straight up food addict, and I'll tell you some of the things she said make no sense because they would make no sense if I said them about my drinking. If anybody here is new, I used to drink like a fish, and I don't now. She had said, I feel better when I don't feel bad about failing in a diet or gaining weight. Now, I used to drink. So, yeah, I feel better if people aren't mad at me for relapsing. I feel better when concerned people don't bother me while I get my fix. Of course, it's better to be left alone with your vice and not feel like you have to apologize for it or hide it. And you can be proud of it. But what are you being proud of? Really? Like, I'll show you, I'll hurt me, and that'll get everyone. That'll really own the haters. You know, I'll screw myself up really bad. You know, it's just, I don't know. It was BS. To me, that was all BS. So the next video, warning, graphic, my surgical incision, and a new cat song. I'm not doing cat songs. I don't like it. I insist. Now, I have a cat. I love my cat. I will talk baby voice to my own cat. I'm not going to film it because I feel like cat talk, pet talk is like Dorito breath. You don't mind your own, but other people's makes you gag. So that's that. She shows her incision. Good work by the surgeon, I have to say. Those stitches look tight. They look clean. They look neat. Whatever she's doing to take care of them, it looks like she's doing well because it doesn't look bad. She talked about watching her content for the new Copa thing going on. That's everybody at this point. And then in between this and her next video, there was a community post saying there will be no more fast food, that her body is craving healthy food, and she needs these things to heal. So she will not be doing that anymore. She had tossed around the idea of doing fast food Fridays again, which was an old throwback, but she's not going to be doing that now. So the next video is then, what the heck did she do next? I've got her up on the TV because I'm so obsessed. West African food mukbang. Now this was takeout, so it's not fast food. And it's not fast because it took 70 minutes. So, and it was cooked fresh. She didn't cook it. It wasn't cooked in her home, so it's not home cooking. And it wasn't cooked in somebody else's home. It was cooked in a restaurant. And it was brought to her. So, but that's not fast food. So, she said she's eating cleaner because the pizza rolls kind of made her sick. If she wants a cheeseburger, she'll make it at home. If I have to eat out, who has to eat out? Like, who is dragged kicking and screaming to Applebee's? Were you? I've never been. Have you? I don't know. She does talk about false copyright strikes, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. She was talking about another YouTuber who was struck, I guess, by another YouTuber for copyright. And Chantal talked about her own hate striking that she does and when they come down. And she was talking about it in a very contrite sort of tone, as though she does it out of anger and then takes it back, and she almost didn't mean it and doesn't intend to do it again. Which in Chantalese means within the next few days, somebody's going to get struck, I think, because she's the queen of impulsivity. So it's going to flip. It's going to happen. You know, her unpredictability is what's predictable. So watch for it. If you do reviews or you do reactions and you're using some of her footage and you say something you don't like, brace for it. Again, she talks about the scrutiny that we're under, which is what fueled the strikes. None of us are drafted to YouTube. Again, no one dragged me kicking and screaming to put on my Y'all Need Jesus shirt and sit here and talk and then force me to upload. I don't have to do it. She doesn't have to do it. So, next thing was a Lush Holiday 2019 haul. Mark said she looked high in the video. I don't know about pain management after a hysterectomy. I don't know what it is after other stuff. Some people take a lot of meds. She said she was managing with Tylenol. She's in an exceptionally good mood, so maybe she just has a very high tolerance for pain. She has had interesting reactions to prescription medication before. We remember the Vyvanse. Chantal on speed is quite the spectacle. Chantal on painkillers would be different. She's had a number of medical issues prior, so she's been on different medications for different things. That's all speculation if she is or isn't. But having my own history with addiction, you can kind of spot certain things that may or may not be there, whether they're behaviors or physical markers, like your pupils looking like dinner plates or you're being half cocked out. So it was just an observation. It wasn't mine. It was just an observation that Mark made. What came after that was another community post saying, I can't do the no fast food thing right now. So she's going to KFC. How can you not do the no fast food thing? Like, I don't get that. Like, draw blood. Draw my blood. I'm fast food deficient. There's not enough Chipotle mayonnaise coming out of there. My A1C is just way too low. Right? We got to get it up. We got to get it up fast. That I don't understand, really. So making the announcement and has, there's like the brazen sort of pride behind it of, yes, I'm going to do it now, and I'm declaring that I'm doing it, and no, I should have never said that I wasn't going to do it, but you guys know that I'm inconsistent, so you can't take me at my word. You guys know you can't take me at my word, right? So, whatever. And the next is the messy eating KFC mukbang, which is among the more disgusting mukbangs I've seen. You see how I go back and forth between mukbang and mukbang? Because I don't know how to pronounce it, so I just say it all different ways. It was among the more disgusting ones I've seen, just in terms of the volume of food. Now, I know a proper one is a lot of food. It's not just like sharing a meal. They're a whole heck of a lot of food. So to that end, I'm not too mad at her, because that's just what it is. Seriously worried she's going to cause complications by getting, like, if you fill too much stuff into a place that's kind of weak, like, won't it burst? Won't it open up? I don't know. Or if you sit too, I don't know. I've heard her say she knows what she's doing before, and then after the fact said, I don't know what I was doing. I just hope she's not causing complications for herself. Maybe I'm being dramatic. I admit there's a very good chance I don't know what I'm talking about. It's an imagined concern that me as a non-medical professional is having. So I'll disqualify my concern by saying that. But it's something that occurred to me. I'm just picturing, mafe and plantains going in and then exploding out of the bottom of her. Yeah, it's been a rough day. She said she's too impulsive, and she said why the fast food? Because she's happier eating crap and embarrassing herself on camera. Well, that's where the money is, so if that's what makes you happy. She continues with the story of her life, which is not really about her. She talks about other people, mostly, like characters, human beings in her life, and talks about their interactions with her or things she watched them do, pretty much. The most notable point of interest is that she passes gas mid-chew while she's eating. There's not much to defend that. She kind of says, this is me, this is who I am, I'm real, if you don't like it, da-da-da-da-da. But, I really didn't have too much to say about that. I think that speaks for itself. I think if you don't like it, there's good reason not to. I think if you do like it, I think I would stop acquaintanceship with someone who really was, into that. I mean, I'm all about live and let live, too. I mean, there's things I conduct myself in my own personal life where people would say, that's not really for me, I don't approve of that. But that's more like, that's not like manners, like having discussions like Chantal would have about other YouTubers saying, you're a parent, wouldn't your kids be embarrassed to see that? When they, like, it's one thing to embarrass yourself, but none of us are an island, like, I think it was in this one or maybe the next one, BB's in the background, and as soon as she starts talking, he just gets up and walks away. Like, what does that betray in your real life about your relationships with other people? She said on camera that her family really doesn't like her mukbang videos. Maybe just because of the food she's eating. I wonder what they would think about the other things that she either talks about or the other behaviors that she does. They either love her and accept her as she is, which is family. You know, that would be one way to go about it, and that's okay. They don't like it. They don't know about it. I don't know. I don't know. But there's a lot of nasty words that people would use to describe a person who does stuff like that. And I was thinking a lot of them, and I'll keep them to myself. Okay. And the final video, unless she put out something while I'm filming this, in which case we'll talk about it next week, because 7 videos of her eating and farting is about all I can take. Mozzarella sticks and chicken fettuccine Alfredo. This was the one. BB's in the background. I think he's watching TV or something. As soon as she starts, like, getting into the eating, he gets up and walks away. Like, he goes into the bedroom or somewhere else. She said she has nothing to talk about. She kind of just wants to eat. She did talk about a meal delivery system that's a la, like, HelloFresh that's being delivered. We get every plate every so often. It's a meal delivery system. It's on the cheaper side of things. It's cool. You get enough food for 2. But she would have to cook. And I guess she's on light duty right now, so unless BB was going to cook it, I'm not sure who would. She hasn't left the house since her surgery. She's just kind of been hanging out. But then she also said she didn't go for blood work, which means it's not her doctor's necessarily recommendation that she shouldn't leave the house. She should have left the house to go get blood work at this point. But she had about 5 excuses as to why. She was so traumatized from being poked and prodded in the hospital. She can't drive. She's afraid to go out. And she doesn't feel well. So she can't go do that. So I don't know. So she said BB's doing the housework. She kind of hates feeling dependent on him. And then she shows off after she's eating her Italian food, the chicken Alfredo and whatever. I guess it's like a Canadian Olive Garden type place. He had ordered some Senegalese, West African food, I guess. And she was showing it off on camera. And she was like, oh, you're going to eat that whole thing today? Which in my mind translated to, are you going to finish that? The guy hadn't even started his food. And I think she was concerned if there'd be any leftover for her. So, she's had quite the busy week. You can tell she's recovered because she's back to her old reindeer games of making her mind up about one thing and changing it 20 seconds later. She's back to the mukbangs. I think when she's back at the wheel, she'll be back doing the car mukbangs. Her behavior is starting to disintegrate into being more and more gross. Even during the last mukbang where she was eating fettuccine, she left a lot more on her mouth. We're getting more like smeared food and eye contact. The passing gas, the belching, the little twitch that is not endearing. I don't even think the feeders would like it. It's not a cute signature. It's not a trademark. It's like... So, that's about as much as I can say right now. Again, my level of support for this individual has been waning as of late. I originally started trying to be a little more even-handed when I was discussing Chantal, but it's hard to defend the indefensible. Other than to say she's living her life the way she pleases, and she seems to be making no apologies for it. I do feel like I'm watching someone run around inside a burning house who has no idea the house is on fire, and that it could get kind of bad kind of quick at any time. So, if Chantal were listening, and I doubt that she is, but she may search herself out in videos and watch them. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad surgery went well. Again, human being, worthy of dignity and respect. Wish she would carry herself with dignity and respect, but that's on her. Glad she's doing well. Glad she's back to making content. Like her or hate her, she's a part of the YouTube community. I watch her videos. I watch them for a lot of different reasons. I watch her videos. I like that she has a channel. I like that I get to talk about her channel. I think she's, like I said, good fodder for discussion. So, yeah, I'm glad she's back as part of the YouTube community. So So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the like button. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteve or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address and our contact information, P.O. Box, all that's listed below. Thank you all for watching, and we will catch up with y'all tomorrow. Bye.